I'm going to jump in to a topic people have wanted me to talk about. I have a lot to say about this. So I want to start off by looking at this piece, and then I've got some clips that I'm going to go into. John Fetterman's debate showing left Democratic insiders shaken but still hopeful. Now, I don't know how this race is going to go, okay? I'm going to be honest. I have no idea. If you had asked me a month ago, I'd say Fetterman's probably going to win. At this point, I'm not sure, right? But the idea, right, the way we organize society, think about this. The idea that someone having had a health condition all of a sudden makes them dumber somehow. Now again, you can have some kind of health conditions that really fuck your brain up. That's a huge thing. But like the immediate thought, oh, someone had a stroke. Clearly they must be a complete moron and unfit to serve for office, right? Like, you know, like that is a crazy prejudice that a lot of Americans have, right? And the only thing that matters when you vote for a candidate to go to the Senate or the House is how they will vote, how you think they will vote on bills. Now again, would I want someone like Bernie Sanders to give like a passionate speech on the floor? Absolutely. And is John Fetterman going to be able to do that in a year, 2 years? Probably, right? But the most important thing that matters is how they vote. And if you think that John Fetterman recovering from a stroke is somehow going to make him vote differently, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And you're a bigoted piece of garbage. And so, but again, there's multiple facets of society here. We know, right, that Americans are bigoted pieces of prejudicial fucking garbage. We know that. That's a fact. Democrats, especially Republicans, are bigoted fucking garbage cans. Okay, I need you to understand that. And so, even if well-meaning people, you know, like this is the point that I'm trying to make. Well-meaning people, they might not be affected by this, but they're afraid of the generic American who's a bigoted, prejudicial piece of fucking garbage who will see his debate performance and cry and whine and vote for Dr. Oz, right? Right. That's what they're worried about. Again, I need you to understand, we are held hostage by American stupidity. We are held hostage by the dumb fucks that run this country. We're talking about the voters. We're talking about the low information, low IQ, extremely evil, bigoted fucking piece of garbage, average American voter. I'm not talking about just Republicans. Democrats are bigoted pieces of garbage more often than not as well, okay? It's almost all of these motherfuckers in this country, right? So I'm just saying that. I wanted to foreground that before I get into this. So I got some clips here, but I'm going to read some of this. When one Pennsylvania Democratic operative got on a call, I love how this is just written about one Democratic operative who got a phone call. Let's write an article. Someone got a phone call somewhere. Bust out the typewriter. And inside Pennsylvania's Democratic circles, insiders and elected officials fretted about Fetterman's halting performance in Tuesday's high-stakes U.S. Senate debate, questioning his campaign's choice to participate, and in some cases hoping the debate came too late for serious damage to sink in. According to several operatives and elected Democrats, most of whom didn't want to go on record criticizing their home state candidate. I was getting text messages throughout the debate, and certainly when it concluded, from Fetterman voters saying, whoa. Now again, I just want to remind everyone, real quick, we may have forgotten, but I want to remind everyone about a couple of U.S. presidents that we've had in the last, last while. Exhibit A, George W. Bush. Exhibit A. Was anyone around during the George W. Bush administration? Did anyone see what that guy was saying on television? That guy was fucking nuts. George W. Bush was fucking nuts. That guy was crazy. He didn't know how to speak properly. He was a fucking low IQ Neanderthal, right? Now, Exhibit B, Donald Trump. I mean, fuck, Donald Trump. The guy can't complete a coherent sentence to save his fucking life. The guy's literally living in a psychotic fantasy land. he was president of the United States. Exhibit C, Joe Biden. Joe Biden also can't complete a coherent sentence to save his life. It's just not going to happen. He says and does inappropriate things all the time. He walks into walls. He asks where dead people are, right? Let's be honest, Joe Biden not doing so well in the cognitive department. And yet, all three of these people, what do they have? Well, all two of these people, what do they have in common? They won a presidential election. Just one of them at one point. Okay. Of course, George W. Bush never won a presidential election, but that's another story. So I don't know, man. I want to hope that the American electorate, how dumb and stupid and fucking disgusting and bigoted these people are, can look past the fact that John Fetterman had a stroke and is recovering from the stroke. Right? I hope to God. But also, I don't know. Now, anyway, I want to play some clips. I got some clips here from the debate, just a couple, and I'm not sure how the volume will be, but anyway, I got a couple. I'm gonna play them in the order that I deem to be legitimate. So this is how John Fetterman knew that him recovering from a stroke would be an issue. He started the debate by talking about it. Let's watch.
And let's also talk about the elephant in the room.
The fucking audio, man. Holy shit. What is this fucking shit recorded like under like a fucking like glacier? Like, why is the audio so fucked up?
And let's also talk about the elephant in the room. I had a stroke. He's never let me forget that. And I might miss some words during this debate, mush two words together, but it knocked me down, but I'm going to keep coming back up. And this campaign is all about, to me, is about fighting for everyone in Pennsylvania that ever got knocked down, that needs to get back up, and fighting for all forgotten communities all across.
What? Now the fucking audio is getting louder. What the hell?
That needs to get back up and fighting for all forgotten communities all across Pennsylvania that also got knocked down. That needs.
Fuck. Why is like the audio gradually getting? I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm not doing that. I just want to say I'm not doing that. That is the clip. That is the clip.
It's about fighting for everyone in Pennsylvania that ever got knocked down, that needs to get back up, and fighting for all forgotten communities all across Pennsylvania that also got knocked down, that needs to get back up.
Thank you. So again, he starts off, you can clearly hear, he's forgetting some words. He's not really forgetting. Now again, it needs to be understood, like, what does a stroke do to you? Well, it depends, like how quickly you got healthcare and what the quality of that healthcare is, right? But oftentimes what it does is it affects your ability, to think about something cognitively and your ability to physically get that thought out, right? So again, speaking, language, right? Talking, requires moving your mouth, right? And saying words. But sometimes, your brain is thinking really fast and your body is unable to keep up with, what you're trying to say. You might miss a word, right? And when you have a stroke, I mean, people do this all the time, by the way. Like, this is not something that stroke victims are exclusive with, right? It's just more prominent sometimes when you're recovering from a stroke, right? I do this sometimes. Having done 1,723 of these fucking little fucking shows, right? I can tell you for a fucking motherfucking fact, every once in a while, I flub something, I miss a fucking word, I'll say shit like that mashes words. I have that all the time, right? So normal people do that all the time, right? But like, oh, he had a stroke. Oh, woo, right? Like, all of a sudden that makes it more scary, right? Because it's more pronounced. And again, we have to understand that most Americans are bigoted, prejudicial, pieces of garbage. We need to understand that. I know a lot of people want to believe in a fantasy land where most Americans are good people or whatever. That doesn't exist. That's wishful thinking, right? So again, I just also want to say the conversation around this whole thing, how people are talking about it, is so ableist, man. I'm like, seriously, it's disgusting. Like, how well-meaning people are talking about it too. Like, well-meaning people are making segments and like, they're just like, it's not funny. I don't know, man. Like, we can have a conversation, about like, some people having like stutters or something or misspeaking, and it can be funny, right? Sometimes it's funny. I grant that, right? It really depends on the context, right? Like when Joe Biden goes up there and asks like where the dead congresswoman is, that's funny. I'm not going to lie. That's fucking funny. Okay. That's funny. But like, again, a lot of the times, someone stuttering is not that funny, right? Like, let's just be honest, right? So anyway, so this is the opening argument. I got a couple of other clips here. I wanted to play this one from Dr. Oz. This is Dr. Oz being asked about abortion.
I want women, doctors, local political leaders, letting the democracy that's always allowed our nation to thrive, to put the best ideas forward. So
he was asked about abortion, and the three people that are relevant: women, doctors, and local political leaders. Yeah, that's right. Dr. Oz wants to be in the room when you're having your abortion.
I want women, doctors, local political leaders, letting the democracy that's always allowed our nation to thrive, to put the best ideas forward.
So that's a little interesting. Anyway, this is I could play a bunch of clips. I'm just choosing a couple of them. I'm not going to sit here and play a bunch of clips of John Fetterman struggling to say words and then going like, ooh, that was hard to watch, right? Because that's what a lot of these YouTubers are doing. I watched a couple videos from other, so-called progressive YouTubers. I don't even know, can you call the Young Turks progressive after fucking Cenk Uyghur's, endorsing Republicans now? I don't know. Maybe I'll talk about that later. But, but a couple, I'm not here to show you cringe porn. Oh, look. Oh, John Fetterman can't complete a sentence, right? But anyway, I just want to play John Fetterman's best line of the night, in my opinion. I thought this one was great. Check it out.
Again, it's the Oz rule. He's on TV and he's lying. I never supported any of that thing. He keeps talking about Bernie.
Look, what the hell is this? This little video glitch, by the way. This is like some horror movie shit.
He keeps.
Whoa, that's crazy. I'm not trying to,
Did any of that thing. He keeps talking about Bernie Sanders. 3 years ago, he was on his show and he hugged him and he said, "I love this guy." You know what? Why don't you pretend that you live in Vermont instead of Pennsylvania and run against Bernie Sanders? Because all you can do is talk about Bernie Sanders. Because my truth is that healthcare is a basic fundamental right. And I believe in expanding that, and I believe about fighting for health care, the kind of health care that saved my life. Again.
So, again, the context here is that Dr. Oz is lying about being a con artist, and he keeps saying that John Fetterman is a radical socialist because he supports Bernie Sanders or endorsed him at some point. But I love the line, "Why don't you pretend to live in Vermont so that you can go against..." That's great. That's great. I love it. And then again, this last part is I want somebody in office that knows what it's like to have their life saved by healthcare. Now, again, I've told this story before. My mom had a stroke. She did not recover. She did not have adequate health care. She did not recover from that stroke. If we lived in a Medicare for all society, guess what? My mom would probably still be here. She'd probably be speaking as well as John Fetterman, and she would probably still be here. But she's not. Why? Because she didn't have good health insurance, and guess what? Our medical system is fucked up. So if you ask me, do I want a Senate candidate? A Senate candidate that had a life-saving healthcare experience, to me, that's a better syndicate. So I want to play this part again.
And expanding that, and I believe about fighting for health care, the kind of health care that saved my life.
Again.
So I think that that's a great line. He did a great job there. Now again, I'm not gonna be here to show you the cringe porn. Oh, John Fetterman stuttered here. Whoa. I'm not here to do that. I support John Fetterman. I'm not gonna be like fucking an ableist fucking YouTuber here. But I want to play one more clip. This is not from the debate. But this is after the debate, John Fetterman talking about the debate. And I believe this clip was last night at a rally of some kind. But anyway, let's play.
Last night, Oz said that, and I want to get this right, quote, "Local political leaders should decide whether a woman should be able to get an abortion." Basically, kind of like Doug Mastriano. For some of the focus on some of the words that I miss, he really has to say that he had the worst line of that night.
So I just got to say again, John Fetterman, this guy, he's a good candidate. Has he had some issues that I disagree with? Absolutely. Is his thing with fracking problematic? Probably, right? But I mean, he's a good candidate, and he's got good political instincts, and he knows how to go after his opponents. And so this is, again, he acknowledges, yes, I'm having problems articulating myself. It's not a cognitive issue. It's just I'm having a struggle getting words out sometimes. But even with that fact, Dr. Oz had the worst line of the night. So again, I mean, I like Fetterman. I think he would be a great senator, and you should vote for him, absolutely. But again, I just like this media focus on like when someone is struggling with a health issue. I mean, like again, the only thing I care about are their politics. That's it. How they're going to vote as a senator. And this person, having had a stroke and is recovering from a stroke, that's not going to affect how he's going to vote in the Senate. Now, again, he might not be able to give a passionate floor speech for the first fucking 6 months or a year, possibly. You think Dr. Oz is going to have any? Like, you know, like, come on. Like this is ridiculous. You're really going to vote for a snake oil salesman con artist because the other guy is recovering from a stroke? I mean, but again, Americans are fucking crazy bigots, so who knows what can happen. But there you go. So that's all I have to say on that regard.